This show is the number one defender of Dusty Baker in Houston. Mainly because I'm just annoyed by the people that constantly bitch and moan about him. I do get some of the questions that are asked about his day-to-day lineup management, but I'm also someone who has, a life. So I don't want to talk about the lineup every effing day, especially on days where the Astros win. But before yesterday's game, when we found out that Yordan Alvarez was not in the Astros lineup, I get where some Astros fans are coming from. I do. Not because of resting Yordan Alvarez, who was in a bit of a slump and had played 24 games in a row. Not because of that. It's because of this quote right here before the game coming from Dusty Baker, who is wearing this incredible Hawaiian shirt, this hat that matches the Hawaiian shirt. No idea what team it was for. This almost felt like Dusty Baker was trolling.
I haven't liked how he moved, and I didn't like how he swung, and so I just decided to, give him the day off, and then he'll be good through the season. And much like I did with Tucker. And sometimes you got to maybe sacrifice one game for the next 9. Just in my experience, I've seen that to be very beneficial, not only physically, but mentally, too, at this time of the year. When you're not doing what you feel you should be doing, it gets to be as much mental as physical. So hopefully I only have to use him to pinch hit, or hopefully we can have a day like we had with Tuck, and I don't have to use him at all.
They did use him at all. More on that in just a moment. But the thing that drove everyone crazy, everyone who's freaking out about Dusty Baker's lineups not having enough urgency, was this little clip that you heard from Dusty Baker in his beautiful Hawaiian shirt and his rad hat just a moment ago. In case you couldn't focus in on it, in case you just zoned out, here's Dusty again saying something that drove so many Astros fans crazy.
And sometimes you got to maybe sacrifice one game for the next 9.
I love it. And look, it is a marathon, not a sprint, as real seamheads like myself will tell you. And it is about the final stretch of the year. He hasn't been hitting well against Baltimore. You wanted to hit well against Kansas City, against Seattle, against Arizona. Maybe this helps. Seemed to help with Kyle Tucker. Some of this load management has worked with guys like Yainer Diaz, too, of late. The tricky thing is, Alvarez came back into the game to pinch hit, only to have Jake Myers pinch run for him, which put the Astros in a very precarious spot. And this is where I want to shift away from talking about Dusty Baker and focus on Brandon Hyde. Everyone bitches and moans about their baseball manager. If you have a baseball team in your town, the minutia, you second guess all the time. I suppose that's fair. I suppose it's fun for some. But everyone thinks their manager sucks. And I really wonder what people in Baltimore are thinking today about these two decisions by Orioles manager Brandon Hyde. Why in the absolute bleep did they put in Fujinami in the 8th inning? As soon as I saw that guy on the mound, I was like, oh, the Astros are going to win. This guy sucks. Sean Mapes, do you know what Fujinami's ERA is against the Astros this year?
I'm guessing high.
27. It's 27. I thought the Orioles had a good bullpen. Let's put this guy in, who in 2 1/3 innings pitched has 5 walks, 3 hits, 7 earned runs allowed, and just 1 strikeout. But let's put him in. And you guys want to dump on Dusty Baker. What a dumbass Brandon Hyde is for that. And then in the very next inning, so because the Astros had Yordan Alvarez pinch hit, and then pinch ran for him, they lost their DH. So if the Orioles had just walked Mauricio Dubon, who's having a decent season, right? By expectations, he's having a great season. Why didn't they just walk him? So I think the grass is always greener when it comes to managers. And I think that the people focusing on Dusty Baker and those comments, while I get it, he does seem to be trolling you, which I very much enjoy. Focus on the bozo Orioles manager who literally punted the game away by putting in the worst pitcher against the Astros probably this season. They're not even getting hits against him. He just can't even throw a strike.
Maybe Brandon Hyde realizes sometimes you have to sacrifice one game for the next one.
Yeah, you think so?
Maybe he heard those words and he was like, you know what?
Dusty is sage. He is wise.
Let me. I don't want to tax these bullpen arms too much. Let me put in this guy with the 27 ERA.
Yeah. 27. It's insane. The guy sucks.
The Texans have scored 29 points this season through 2 games. This guy has a 27 ERA.
Also, his ERA in real life is 7+.
In real life.
Yeah, against everybody.
Yeah.
They traded for him at the deadline, and people were acting like this was a good acquisition. What? Are you on crack? Like, because he was on the A's? Like, oh, it's going to be better? No, the guy sucks. He just sucks. You can tell I feel bad for him out there. Like, he's questioning himself. He's a minor league pitcher, probably.